maybe she's just out of control, and maybe her blocking form needs some work.
Connecticut guard Dijonai Carrington has been making headlines in the basketball world following her aggressive play against Kate Martin. A recent video appears to show Carrington possibly making contact with Martin during their playoff game, sparking widespread debate among fans and raising concerns about player safety in the highly competitive league. This incident has ignited a significant controversy, placing the star player at the center of intense scrutiny.
Our officials, crew chief Angel Kent, referee Kevin Sparrick, and umpire is Jessica Walter.
And, I think make her mark on this unrivaled league. We're looking for her to do that.
Before we dive deeper, I have a quick request. If you're enjoying this WNBA content, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world to us.
She has 2 torn labrums if you've never watched her play.
The consistency and her ability to do it, but she will get there.
One of the matchups in the third slate featured Miss BC taking on Les BC. After Miss BC suffered a loss in their season opener, they were determined to claim their first ever victory in the unrivaled league.
This now 2 for 13 from the floor as Martin up ahead. Dijonai with the chase down, but she's caught for a foul. She had a chase down block in the first quarter of the opener on Friday.
Throughout the game, Martin faced several instances of Carrington's intense defensive pressure. However, a couple of key interactions involving her, Miss BC, and Connecticut guard Dijonai Carrington drew the most attention. During one moment, Martin drove for a layup in transition, but appeared to be struck on the head as Carrington aggressively contested the play. Adding fuel to the fire, another foul was called on Carrington. Later, an incident unfolded on the perimeter where Carrington, attempting to steal the ball, missed by a wide margin and instead made hard contact with Martin's arm. A foul was called, and Martin appeared visibly shaken for a few moments.
Kate Martin is over here on the left side of the court, going up the court.
This now 2 for 13.
She gets the pass. Now, Dijonai is running hard. Back it up just a little bit. She's running hard after Kate. And then there's the foul, knocking Kate to the floor hard, hits her head on the stanchion here. And it is called a foul. As you can see, the official's hand is up in the air. And Kate was down for a while and she was rubbing her nose, so she got hit in the face.
After the foul, Martin raised her arm in frustration but finished the game strong despite her tough shooting night. When asked if Carrington's defense was intentional, Martin denied it, sticking to her usual stance of not blaming opponents for hard fouls. The video of the play sparked strong reactions, with some fans comparing it to the Caitlin Clark incident in the 2024 WNBA playoffs. Many were upset by the lack of a foul call and accused Carrington of trying to harm Martin, calling for a suspension and fine. Fans are still waiting for Carrington's comment on the incident, given her past controversies. Some fans speculated that Carrington's actions were intentional, citing her past behavior on social media. Carrington responded, saying she didn't realize she hit Martin and that her focus was on the ball, stressing it wasn't intentional. However, many felt her aggressive fouls were due to frustration from a poor performance, as her team was being dominated, and she struggled with just 2 points on 1 of 10 shooting. Kate Martin expressed frustration over Carrington's physical defense after their unrivaled game, mentioning it in the post-game press conference.
No, you obviously made contact. She obviously hit the floor, so my guess is she could hear her bones hitting the floor, and if not, she certainly, I imagine, heard her when her head smacked against the stanchion. And we're not in an arena with 16,000 people where you can't hear anything hardly. So what troubles me, for lack of a better word, is her way of seemingly not caring at all. She turns, and I'll show this again. I'll start this again. She turns away from Kate, turns away, almost before she even hits the ground, almost before Dijonai hits the ground, before she as she jumped up in the air to block, almost before she hits the ground, she's already turning in the other direction. And I know some of you will say, well, then that's evidence that she meant to do it. To me, that's not necessarily evidence that she meant to do it. To me, that's evidence that...
Despite the fouls, Kate Martin outplayed Dijonai Carrington, and Lay's victory over Miss BC secured a morale-boosting 63-43 win. Martin played a key role in the outcome, contributing significantly to the team's success.
The foul before the Thomas lay-in. It's a starting trio that has veteran leadership and experience for Phil Handy.
Carrington struggled with her shooting, much like Martin, the reigning WNBA Most Improved Player. Carrington finished with 2 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block, shooting 1 of 10 from the field and 0 of 3 from three-point range. Despite her difficulties, the former Iowa guard outperformed Carrington in all aspects of the game, even though she was ultimately outplayed overall.
Of cab or Pinot wine or 2 and shopping. Now she did cardio and weights, but nothing with the basketball. And now with
Shooting last year. 2 minutes to go in the first, a 5-point lead. This with the ball as Jackson slithers and stepped out of bounds. Vandersloot. The dry spell continues, a 12-2 run for Laces. Carrington. Drive it.
However, she found her groove after halftime, making a significant impact on both ends of the court.
Championship out there with the Chicago Sky, finishing with the Las Vegas Aces. Money Martin.
With the 18th pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Las Vegas Aces select Kate Martin, University of Iowa.
What a wonderful moment for Kate Martin, a player considered the glue of these Iowa teams that have captivated so many people across the country. We saw Kate really elevate her game throughout this NCAA tournament, specifically Sweet 16 in.
Be used and developed, as well as positioning matters. So we're playing defense without as much help side. We got to be physically able to absorb certain bumps, certain contacts. Now, whether you're playing 5-on-5 on 3-on-3, this is true regardless, but even more so emphasized on 3-on-3, because if you get completely blown by going to the hoop, there is no help side. So being able to be physical, engage with the defender, and like I mentioned earlier, this is all about using your body to be strong enough to resist those forces. And you're going to see a lot of the same exercises here. RDLs, squats. We don't make the lifting confusing. We want to get stronger at our lifts. We went from like a $185 on some of these RDLs, and you'll eventually see her cranking out 245 for a couple of reps. I think I have on here, the most on this video might be 225, but worked up to 245. Now, this is the second time you see balloons, and you might say, Max, you play with balloons, you play with frisbees. Why? Well, when we play with a balloon or use a frisbee, we take our focus and make it external.
Miss here and there. Now 4 for 10 from the floor. Stewart puts that shoulder down, spin cycle, engage. That's a patented move by Thomas. Rival, the shot clock is 18 seconds. On resets, it goes down to 12. Lloyd the lob, Stewart the catch. Thomas picking at it. Stewart hit it anyway.
Make it external. Traditionally, when we do a drill, the focus is internal. What's my technique? What's my form? But when we play a sport, it's external. So yes, we do use some internalized drills, like we're working on footwork and positioning. Yeah, we're just learning the movement. We want to internalize some of it just so we can get the footwork correct and make it comfortable. But then once we get better at it, we want to externalize that. We don't want to think about it. We want to just be a natural hooper. But sometimes, like I mentioned, if you're just learning something, you just got to learn the ABCs before you can write a book. We have a wide variety of different exercise pieces of equipment that we use. So this one here is a safety bar. Why do I like the safety bar? Well, for most of my athletes, we use this with them. And the reason is it allows for a lot of stability and comfort. When we back squat, it's pretty difficult at times to master the perfect technique of a back squat. If I want to train my legs by using a back squat, maybe I should use an exercise that isn't going to be so technically demanding at times.
Kate Martin also has flowed really good screener. The cutting has also popped. She's also been a little bit more aggressive than I anticipated in pick and roll, just kind of pulling against some of those unders. How much have you been in her ear about kind of finding herself as a scorer?
I mean, we did a film session yesterday, and she knows that she's got the ultimate green light here. Not only from myself, but her teammates want her to shine and flourish in that way. She's got so much to her game than just being a spot-up shooter or whatever people think of her, and that's on both sides of the ball. She adds a level of physicality.